Hello, everybody. I had to go ahead and come and make this video and do this video now because I'm a little bit delayed on watching live stream from the Botham Jean uh, Miss Guyger trial and the wrapping up of the sentencing. I first just want to put it out there that I am definitely praying for his loved ones and those who have lost it, from what it seems like a really great young man. And I just kind of wanted to come in and do a live video real quick, give my reaction to the verdict, to the sentencing, and just coming from of an honest place of someone who is definitely a child of God, who definitely understands that we as individual human beings don't have the right to necessarily judge or impose our personal feelings on anyone, and but also from a place of just what it feels like to be Black and living in America, United States of America. First, let me just say this. Guilty verdict, I think it was warranted. Um, I don't know. I wish we would ever one day find out if she really made a mistake and really mistakenly went into the wrong apartment. I've heard people, we watched through the trial and we watched people say that they did the same thing. Of course, they weren't officers. They weren't walking in with a gun. So nobody ended up dead as they did in this instance. But I'm really, as you see, lost for words because I just can't understand. Through this trial, I have definitely, because they kept saying focus on a reasonable person. What would a reasonable person? So I thought about it. I thought, as a reasonable person, as a person in her exact same situation in this moment where I live at home alone, if I walked into my home and I heard the TV on and I saw a figure stand in there in my home, what would I do? First off, I wouldn't have a gun, but if I did have a gun, what would I do as a reasonable person, as a person who values life? I know, and I can speak for myself, I would have first said, "What are you doing in here?" And I'm sure that person would have said the same thing, especially if I'm in their house. If I had a gun, and if I pulled the gun out, and they say whatever their response, because I'm sure they're going to be like, "What you mean what I'm doing here? This is my house." And then at that point, I'm going to look around. I'm going to try to see, like, am I in the wrong place? Like the other people who were witnesses, and they said they kind of like noticed, oh my God, I'm in the wrong place. I, as a reasonable person, would not have, first thing I thought is to kill somebody or to even shoot somebody, because I value life. So I cannot understand that. That is why I believe she should have been found guilty, because that makes absolutely no sense. That the first thing that you would think would be to pull the trigger and take a life of somebody, or possibly take a life. Now, we're to the sentencing, and they had an option. between 5 and 99 years. They chose to give her 10. Do I think that's enough? I listened to all of her friends. I'm going to be honest, the fact that they tried to bring a person from every part of the rainbow up there to speak on her behalf, I guess good attorneys. But if I were in that jury stand, as a reasonable person, I would know that this is a play on my intelligence. And you're trying to get me to see, oh, she's not a racist. See, she has black friends, white friends, Hispanic friends. I was waiting for an Indian person or an Asian person to walk up. So I didn't like that. I believe that they did that, of course, because they wanted to play or pull on the hearts of the jury and have the jury do exactly what they did and give her a very, very low sentence. 10 years, having to serve 50% of it is not enough for someone's life. For someone's life who was sitting in their own apartment, who had so much life left to live, who had done so many great things, who was actually a great human being. 10 years with possibly serving only 5 is not enough. She is 31, however old she is. I'm just being honest. She needs to feel that. She needs to feel that. She needs to think about the things that she has done, think about the things that she has said, and think about the fact that she took a life from a family, took a life from a potential child who he possibly could have had. And I don't think that sitting for only 5 or 10 years is going to teach her the lesson and value the life that she took, as well as the other lives that are around here that she could potentially take in the future. That's not enough. She should have at a minimum gotten 20 years, because then at a minimum she would have served 10. There are people I know from my community who have served and who are serving and sentenced to 30 years for drug conspiracy, which means they had not been caught selling a drug, had not been caught doing anything, but just for the fact that they possibly knew somebody who was selling drugs, they got sentenced to 30 years where they had to serve at least 85% of the time. How can somebody who kills somebody, who walks into somebody's house and kills them, and they were innocent, only get sentenced to 10 years and possibly only have to serve 50% of the time? Tell me how that is fair and how that is just. It is not. I don't know if any of the jury members ever see my video, but if you do, you need to know you were wrong in that. And I'm not saying I don't have a heart, but what you need to do is think logically of the hearts of the family members of Botham who you have just taken away their family member from, who was just from listening to everybody talk about him. He was just such a great young, God-fearing, God-loving young man. How could you justify a possible minimum of only serving 5 years for somebody's life? But that just tells you about this justice system. It tells you about these laws, and it tells you about how America views the lives of Black people and minorities. Black, brown people, especially minorities. Because we know good and well, had this been reversed, there is no way a Black officer making the mistake walking into a white woman's apartment and shooting her in the same exact situation, it is no way he would have only gotten sentenced to 10 years. No way. If somebody can prove it to me, show some facts, post it in my comments, please do that. But as I always say on my channel, I work very hard to remain positive. I work very hard to be honest, but try to end or touch things from a positive perspective. So what I will say is this. I don't agree with the sentencing, but I am also a believer and a truster in God. So I know that there is a reason behind this sentencing. I know that He will make sure that whatever she is supposed to learn and experience based on that very, very bad decision that she made that day, she's going to get it. I'm going to pray for her. I watched his friend, one of his good friends, say that he loved her and that he didn't believe that, he didn't even feel like she should go to jail. He just wants her to give her life to Christ and submit to God. And I think that is such a big thing for that young man to say. I think that it really speaks to who he is and how much he truly believes in God. And I just think it was an awesome note. I'm praying that I get to, I want to say, I love God as well, but I'm just being honest. If that was my friend or my best friend, I would understand that nobody can punish you more than God can punish you internally, even if you are in prison. But my heart and the fact that I'm no longer going to see somebody who impacted my life like that, it would not allow me to be as compassionate immediately after the sentencing. I'm dealing with, and I still look up and cry because I lost my mother, and not to someone murdering her. And I think about the times that I just cry thinking about her. So I can't imagine, someone losing someone because someone chose to take their life, and then being able to be as forgiving and compassionate for that person immediately in that moment. That is something that I would not be able to do. So I truthfully commend him. I thank God for putting someone on this earth who has the compassion like that, that young man has. But I don't agree with the sentencing at all. I just really hope that all the people who are in an uproar about the sentencing, you understand that the laws that are in place in this country, the people who impose the laws, the people who enforce the laws, are all done by voting. We put them all there. We help them write the laws. You have to vote, and you have to put people in office who understand what your feelings are, who understand what your concerns are, and who are going to make sure that they create laws that will consider you, that will put a value on your life, so something like this won't continue to happen to the Black community. You think, oh, I vote don't matter, oh, it doesn't. But as long as you say that, you will be sitting yelling outside of courtrooms upset because laws have been used to go against you or to not give you the justice that you feel should be given. When you say 5 to 99, and that's a possibility, that's a law. That was written in like that. That was put somebody, a congressman, a lawyer. I mean, not a lawyer, a congressman, a senator. Somebody wrote that law. So what you have to do is fight locally and vote and put people in office who will work to fight and change those laws. Murder shouldn't be a minimum of 5 years. Somebody who takes somebody's life, and if they're convicted of murder, should have to serve and be sentenced to no less than 15 years. No less, because there's no way you're going to learn your lesson in less than that, especially when you're sentencing people for drugs for more than 10 years. It's got to be some fixing of this legal system, especially when it affects the minorities in the way that it does, and other people and other races who do things that are more harmful to people than somebody selling drugs. That's a nonviolent crime. Nobody should be doing any crime. Nobody should be doing anything illegal. But the reality of it is those people who choose to take drugs, they're choosing to take drugs. The reality of it is no drugs come in this country without somebody who's controlling the border allowing it to come in. And I don't see nobody who look like me controlling the border. Do I understand that it gets to the people who look like me to sell it so that they can be in prison? Yes, I do understand that, which is mass incarceration. So I'm not gonna leave. This is about Botham. But I just want to put things in proper perspective. I want to ask all of you to definitely pray for his family. Pray that they find peace moving forward after losing both of them, because I can't imagine what that feels like to his mother, his father, his siblings, and his family, and all of his friends. I lost a cousin to someone taking his life, and it was the worst feeling ever. So 10 years and he's still that person is still in trial now, and it's been more than a year. So the fact that they even brought her to justice this fast is a good thing. I'm gonna be honest. The fact that she even went to trial and got sentenced this fast, that is a good thing. The amount of time wasn't. So the moral of this video is pray for Botham's family. Pray for Amber. God forgives us daily, so I know He's forgiving her if she's asked for His forgiveness. I'm sure her punishment and her chastisement for committing one of the sins, carnal sins, is inside is definitely going to be worse than the punishment that anybody in that jail could give her. It's one thing to eat yourself up from the inside. So I say pray for her. Pray for all of us who are upset. And, we still a work in progress. You human. And like I said again, Botham's good friend who spoke at the end, he's a great young man. So I just want to thank you all. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. I touch on all kind of subjects. This is one. I have been watching this for the past 8 to 9 days, and there was no way I was not going to do a video and a commentary on how I feel about the entire situation and now the verdict and the sentencing. I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to ask again that you subscribe and hit the notification bell, and definitely comment. Let me know what your comments are. As I always say, as long as they're coming from a positive perspective, they don't have to match me. But this is not a channel to just be negative. We got to figure out how to fix the things that's going on that we don't like and come from a positive place in doing it. The only way you're going to fix something negative is come against it with a positive. And so that's basically it. Thank you guys so much for watching my channel, and be sure to subscribe. God bless, and please, please vote and pray for our country.